The San Antonio Spurs made one of the biggest moves in franchise history when they drafted the big man Victor Wembanyama this summer, and so far in the young big man's career, we've seen him put on an absolute show. We all know by now that he's having a great rookie season, but if we look back through the history books, he might just have an argument for being the best rookie of all time. And I'm not being facetious, so let's talk about it. What's up guys, it's Colin from Next Man Up, and today we're going to take a look at the tremendous rookie season that we've seen so far from Victor Wembanyama, and let's really check out if he's on pace to be the best rookie ever, because that's the buzz that we're starting to get around the NBA world. Before the All-Star break, we see Victor go out and put up 27 points, 14 rebounds, 10 blocks, and 5 assists against the Toronto Raptors. And although he racked up a triple-double, you can't help but think that he has potential to put up quadruple-double numbers sometime this year, sometime in his career at least, which, if he did so, would make him only the 5th player in NBA history to achieve this feat. Let's not forget, we see Victor accomplish the 5x5, a statistical achievement that we don't see guys come around often. He's doing it as a rookie, and if I can be honest with you guys, he's kind of making it look easy. So we know from a stats perspective that Victor is already one of the best young guns that we've ever seen, but for good reason. We've also seen people lose their minds, especially the last couple of weeks, just looking at how Victor Wembanyama is performing on the defensive end of the ball. Let's see what he's doing over there. At just a little bit past the halfway point of the NBA season, Victor Wembanyama already has more blocks and more steals than Rudy Gobert's most recent Defensive Player of the Year campaign. That's right, in half a year, Victor compiled better numbers than one of the best defensive players of all time could put together in a full season. Does this not sound crazy to you? And I know there's going to be some of you watching this video, maybe you're already in the comment sections talking about how Rudy Gobert is a fraud and you're comparing Victor to a guy that sucks, yada yada yada. I'm going to mention some more recent history for you. Victor Wembanyama this year has better defensive averages and a better defensive rating than Jaren Jackson Jr. did last season, and Triple J, if you don't remember, won the Defensive Player of the Year. There is absolutely no doubt that Victor Wembanyama is already one of the best defensive players in basketball, and he has an argument for being the best. He is a lock for the all-defensive first team. This guy looks tremendous on the defensive side of the ball. I want to really dial in on that all-defensive first team point. There have only been a few rookies to ever make an all-defensive team. I'm sure you could guess that a guy like Tim Duncan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, and a couple of the other NBA all-time greats got it done, of course. But only one other player ever in the NBA's history has been an all-defensive first team member as a rookie, and that was Bobby Jones for the ABA. If you look at Victor Wembanyama's stats this season, it is going to be very hard to argue that he does not deserve a spot on the all-defensive first team, and I guess my point is, it has been a long while since we saw something just like that happen. So based on what we've seen so far, and based on a couple of the things I've said, I think it might be fair to say that Victor Wembanyama might just be the best defensive rookie in NBA history, and he's on pace to do things that we've honestly just never seen before. But to truly be the best rookie ever, we all know he would need to be able to control the game on the offensive side as well. So we just broke down his defense. Let's see what he's doing on the offensive end. It can't be much better, can it? But first, I want to break down the stat PER, better known as Player Efficiency Rating. This stat takes into account all of a player's stats and boils them down into one formula, which is adjusted to pace to show who are statistically the most impactful players in the NBA's history. According to the creator of this stat, John Hollinger, the average for an NBA player is somewhere around 15. So far this season, I just told you the average is 15, remember? Victor Wembanyama's PER is set at 22.6. Meaning he is leaps and bounds more impactful than the average player in the league, but I think you could have already guessed that. So let's compare him to every rookie in NBA history to get a better feel of where he stacks up. If you put every rookie performance side by side, Victor Wembanyama has the 13th best PER for a rookie of all time, and the 6th best PER since 1980. meaning in the modern era, even since the 80s, which are over 40 years old now, Victor Wembanyama is right up there with the best of all time. Another factor that's important to point out, which I'm sure a lot of you are thinking right now, is the minutes that Victor Wembanyama gets. While PER does factor minutes, we can see that it does tend to favor players who play more. Obviously, if you're on the court more often, you can make an impact on the court more often. And out of anyone on this entire list, including the dudes before 1980 and obviously including the ones after, Victor Wembanyama is the only rookie on this list playing less than 30 minutes a night. Do you understand how insane that is? So let me break this down real quick again. Not only is Victor putting up incredibly efficient and honestly mind-blowing numbers, he is doing it in less minutes, and arguably on the worst team out of anyone we've seen here. This guy is efficient and he does it with no help on a night-to-night basis. This is absolutely insane. There is something to say about the eye test here as well. I know there are plenty of people watching who understand the stats, right? But you gotta believe that the product we get to see on the court is more important, and I completely respect that perspective. So with that being said, when I see a young guy at 7'4" dominate night by night, putting up 5x5s and flirting with quadruple doubles while also being a better playmaker than arguably any rookie big man ever, I can see why some people are starting to consider him the best. Speaking to that eye test a little more, rookies are known for not always being the most mature. That thing comes with time. You gotta remember, half of these guys are teenagers, but Victor Wembanyama's mentality might just be what sets him apart. After putting up quadruple doubles, after putting up 5x5s, and after dominating against some of the league's best competition, reporters tend to ask Victor, how does he feel about his individual performance? And if you can find me one time where he's ever said anything non-team oriented, you'd have to be lying to yourself. This guy cares about the team he's on, he cares about his teammates, and he cares about his coach, Greg Popovich, arguably the best of all time, more than he cares about his production on the court. This guy is team oriented, and as we've seen in the NBA, that brings you a long way, and we can expect championships in Victor's name coming pretty soon. So with all that being said, guys like Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, and even Walt Bellamy all had some mind-blowing numbers their rookie season. But let's be honest, for the modern fan, you never know, because they were all doing it in the 60s. So when you look at the guys on this list who appeared since 1980, or even in that 1980 season, who can compete with Victor Wembanyama, it really only comes down to guys like David Robinson, of course Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, and hey, even if you want to argue, maybe Karl Anthony Towns. My point is, look at this incredible group of players that Victor Wembanyama finds himself in. This is not a fluke. This is not luck. These are some of the best players of all time, and Karl Anthony Towns, who had an incredible rookie season and might just end up as a Hall of Famer. With that being said, though, I think even more than some of these legends, and my boy Cat, I think Victor Wembanyama has some untapped potential that we are just yet to see on full display. Not only are we seeing dominance, we are seeing the very raw form of what could end up being one of the best players of all time. That's ridiculous. So if I have to leave you with one answer, question is Victor Wembanyama the greatest rookie of all time? I might have to say no, because those guys in the 60s, especially in that NBA-ABA merger, I mean, those guys were just going crazy. But in the modern era, since 1980, of course since I was born, which we'll disclose in maybe another video, Victor Wembanyama is easily the most dominant rookie we've ever seen, and I really hope that doesn't get overshadowed by the poor performance from San Antonio, because it is not at the fault of Victor Wembanyama. He is doing everything he possibly can and matching, if not exceeding, the hefty expectations we had on him. Hey guys, all I'm saying is the last time we saw a number 1 overall pick shatter expectations that were so hefty, we ended up with the best player to ever play the game, so that's definitely a high ceiling. Anyways, that's how I got, guys, but please let me know. Are you finally bought in on this Victor Wembanyama hype, which I clearly am? Or do you think the young guys like me are getting a little excited over a 19-year-old big man who still has a lot to prove in the NBA? I'll let you guys settle that in the comment section, but leave a like if you enjoyed and sub if you want to see more. We'll definitely see you in the next one. Peace out.